and his tenor today, so we got double the fun. And here's a great song that Eddie Watkins Jr. wrote. Let me grab my ear thing. Ready? One. Here it goes. We're now running around fixing this and that, giving it up to God and then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out the way and let God do his thing. Look at like the weight of the world's on your back. Just take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama ain't no good for you. Oh, you couldn't change it if you wanted to. Well, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Well, get out of the way and let Dwayne blow his sax. Tell you now, the sun's gonna shine and the river's gonna flow. The tide's gonna rise without your say-so. The universe is winking and the good is flowing. You don't have to plant a seed, dig it up and see if it's growing. Well, get out of the way. Well, get out of the way. Well, get out of the way and let God do his thing. Yourself out of the way. When I get out of the way, let God do its thing. That'll wake you up.
Good morning. Thank you for waking us up. Dwayne and Rob. Good morning and welcome. I'm Peg Beck, and I want to welcome you to Unity of Sarasota. I'd like to read together with the slide. Unity of Sarasota is with all together, light and love, opening minds, touching hearts, and transforming lives. We are an inclusive spiritual community that embraces empowering life and love, life-affirming practical spirituality for richer living right now. We join with Unity worldwide in creating a world that works for all. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome to join us. We'd like to welcome guests. If there's anybody here, if you would please stand if this is your first time here. We have a gift for you. Would you keep standing? We'd like to hear your name. You feel like jumping jacks? We'd like to hear your name and where you're from. We'll start on this side. Oh, welcome. Our board member of the day, Sam Aldrich, is bringing you a gift. That gift is a string of shells, which symbolizes the individuality from each and every one of you in the shells and the string of love that holds us together. And the privilege you get from it is you're first in line for anything in Fellowship Hall. So whatever we're serving, you're there first. Did you get over here? Oh, I'm sorry.
My name is Amy Van Bell, and I'm from Clark Lake, Michigan, and I'm visiting my friend Martin.
Welcome. Sam. Sam. One more over here. You got them? And how about the ones in the middle? Oh, we love Chicago. And over here? Okay. Are you living here now, or? Welcome. One more in the back? I can't hear.
Welcome, Lily.
Well, we really appreciate you all being here. The welcome packet welcomes you, and there's a little card in there, and if you would fill that out and pass it in the basket, or give it to the board member on duty, which is at the umbrella table in the fellowship hall. We'd like to get to know you and keep you informed about what's going on at Unity. Did we get everyone? I think we did. Now we'd like to welcome our guests who are on visiting us virtually on the web. So,
Can we wave to them?
and the other thing that yes, we got the slide, good. Welcome kids. Is Cheryl here? She is with one of the kids. Okay, so we would like to welcome all of the kids and the kids inside of us. And if we would wave to them first, please, and then we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the living Spirit in you. The theme for the youth during March is wisdom. And I think, for me anyway, we all could use a little bit more wisdom in whatever is going on in our lives. So we want wisdom to create a world that works for all. And now I think Reverend Betty is coming to tell you a few announcements.
Yes, we like to get the announcements up front so you can know what's going on around here. And so don't forget our Easter brunch, which is the last Sunday of this month is Easter. It's a little early this year. And afterwards, we're having a wonderful brunch. You can sign up in the fellowship hall. It's $30 for a wonderful, the menu's out there on the table, on the first table as you go in the fellowship hall, and you can see all the wonderful things we're going to have. So make sure you sign up for that in advance, and it is limited to about 100 people, and sometimes we get over that, so be the first to get in there. There's a few people signed up already. And it's been a tradition, although we didn't do it last year, I understand, Easter lilies that are going to be available to you for $15. You can pay in the bookstore and dedicate them to a dear loved one who may have passed on, or just someone you want to celebrate in your life. And so those will be available, and they'll be on display in the front here at Easter Sunday, and you can pick them up after the service to take them home. Now we're going to have a wonderful special cabaret with our own Rob and Tim. Tim, stand up so everybody knows who you are, but let's just say yay. And it's going to be a yay. It will be a lovely time on Friday, April 6th. So again, sign up in advance if you can, and you see the details in your bulletin. We have a guest speaker on the first Sunday in April. most of you know him, Charlie Thweet, wonderful musician. He also does wonderful Unity talks, so he's going to do the talk and the music on April 7th, Living in Connection. And we will be welcoming the new minister the second Sunday of April, Elizabeth Longo, and most of you have been involved in the process of finding her, recruiting her, checking out her references, getting to know her, and she's finally signed the contract. She's coming the second Sunday of April. And don't forget to go into the bookstore down on the other side of the fellowship hall. We do have some sale items. Karen over there, it will greet you. And we also have the book that I'm using as a talk the first 3 Sundays of this month. So we're working with Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics, and there are some copies of that in the bookstore. In fact, 2 people grabbed me today to say they've started reading that book, and they're just blown away. That's the good news. We like to hear that, we need to be blown away with these beautiful ideas. We never outgrow these universal principles, and to hear them and read them in different books give us different ideas. So, Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics. Friday Night Follies, we do something every Friday night here in this wonderful ministry, and so this Friday night, Carol Bercello, who is our administrative coordinator, will join us, and she's going to lead some classes in, I think it's Tai Chi this time. So she's doing different spiritual practices on her 3rd Friday of the month.
All right.
So now let's stand together and sing together the Unity song.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul is longed for, what your heart can feel is already here, is already real. There is no one out there, there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me, there's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you, I will always be. I am one, I am unity. We are one, we are unity.
And if you'll stay standing, we'll say together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, who is perfect life, perfect intelligence, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. Look to someone else. You are an individualized expression of God. We are an individualized expression of God. And now
All
we'll
right,
hear.
let's just thank God for that. And abundance. No, honestly, really, because an abundance is everywhere. We're going to hear a little bit more about it today. And right now, this is a great song. And we got an abundance of sax today. I celebrate my abundance today by giving this gift, showing my faith as I open my heart. My world becomes a better place. Yeah, yeah. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know all that I give to myself. Now join me along on this next time around. Here we go. I celebrate my abundance today by giving this gift. Show my faith as I open my heart. My world becomes a better place. Oh, that's so true. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself. How about you give us a little bit of that saxophone? Sing a little bit more. One more time. I celebrate my abundance today by giving this gift and showing my faith as I open my heart. My world becomes a better place. Yeah. Let's do that one. I release all fear as I share gratefully. This love that I give always gives back to me. Knowing my oneness with everything else, I know that all that I give to myself.
Before I get into my talk, I want to join our minds together in love and to give a gift to someone in this community that's suffering deeply. You may have seen, I don't know, in the media recently that a young woman ran over her 2-year-old child in her own driveway. And our hearts go out, and we just want to encircle her with love. She happens to be a friend of our office administrator's manager daughter, who does dance lessons in the school system, in the elementary schools. And so they know her. Bev and her daughter know this woman personally. And sometimes in a community where something like that happens, there's judgment. And we wouldn't want her to feel alone in the world. And so Reverend Amy went out and got a box for us, and we're going to offer you an opportunity to just fill out a little love note to her and know that we're reaching out to her as a beautiful ministry that wants to help surround her with love. So in the fellowship hall, you'll find on the first table this box and these little note cards, and just whatever you'd like to say to her. And I actually do not know her name. They withheld it from the media, and I don't see Carol here, but perhaps Carol or Amy know her name. So I'm going to just remind you all of that and hope that you'll go in the fellowship hall after the service and fill out a little card for her. So the gift of love, the gift of anything, is helping to keep circulating prosperity and love in the world. And so today we're going to be talking about building a prosperity consciousness. It's the second in a 3-part series on prosperity that I've started. And then we'll have Palm Sunday after that, and then, of course, Easter. So in building a prosperity consciousness, I'm going to talk a bit about the process that we use to raise our consciousness and to do creative work and to be the creative spiritual beings that we are in this earthly experience. And then a few of the spiritual practices and tools that we can use to do that. So I'll talk about the process and some of the tools. And we want to remember the affirmation that we used last week. Did any of you use that during the week? And some of you, yes, repeated that you did. So God is my instant, constant, abundant source of everything. So you can call it prosperity, you can call it supply, you can call it abundance, whatever, but God is my instant, constant, abundant source of everything. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of everything. So let's say that together. God is my instant, constant, abundant source of everything. It's not your bank. It's not the outside world at all. And so I'm going to give you an assignment at the end of this talk too, to think about this week of writing your own definition of prosperity. Because in Unity, it means more than money. It's more than physical treasure. It's the whole idea of fulfilling our spiritual potential while we're here on earth. It's a big idea. And it's a lifetime curriculum. Like all of these universal laws, we're always, the minute we think we've got it, then we've stepped into a higher dimension where we see it even bigger and broader. So it's a wonderful lifelong process, this process of building our consciousness, raising our consciousness. And the idea I really love is that as we work on our individual consciousness raising, we're contributing to the raising up of the whole human family in consciousness. Because I believe in this idea that in the unseen dimension, there is this thought cloud. Actually, they call it the noosphere in the literature. This thought cloud of human thought that just surrounds us all somewhere in the ethers. Like ethers, I don't know. I mean, that's an old-fashioned word, but I kind of like it because, it's just the great mystery. Somewhere in the unseen world, we know that we're all one. And we know that our thoughts are thoughts from the mind of God. And when we express those thoughts, we can express them purely and authentically from the mind of God, or they may come out kind of messed up, depending on our human consciousness as the thought comes down from God mind to our mind, moving through us, and then expressing as us. If we have blockages in our consciousness, if we have old beliefs that no longer serve us, or that are caught up in the current culture's misunderstandings of spiritual ideas, then they may come out strangely, and not pure and good. So it's just like, I was thinking, it was just like, atomic power can be used for good or for not so good. And we don't say there's a devil creating evil, but, evil does happen. Evil can come through human wounding as an attempt to try to feel better. When we're dragging around human thoughts where we were wounded as children, perhaps, and we still carry those thoughts. I'm undeserving. I'm just not worthy of anything. I'm not safe. The world is dangerous. These are classical beliefs that we hold in our unconscious awareness. And then they come up and distort the expression of truth, of the pure ideas from the mind of God. Does that make sense? It's really an abstract understanding, but, the more we recognize what is in our consciousness, then we have the choice to heal it, release it, and then make room for new and wonderful experiences, new good in our lives. So in channeling Butterworth, as I reread his book again, he says that if you think about these stories about millionaires and billionaires who made a fortune, some of them made that fortune by listening to the small voice outside in our society to crave money, to love money, to want riches to build up just for the sake of status in society. And some of them actually listened to the idea of prosperity and realized that their life could be big and good came to them, and they used these principles we're going to talk about to share their good. And so think of those lottery winners. We've heard that about a third of those lottery winners lose all their money, go broke within 3 to 5 years. About a third of people who are just handed the check go broke. So, and then I was thinking, when we're creating things with the right idea of a pure divine idea, like beauty. Beauty is a divine idea. These are the absolute ideas that come from God, and then we use them as substance to create. So if we thought of beauty, I don't know why this idea came to me, because I'm really not into antiques, but but the principle is that if we create with the purity of the divine idea for beauty, then what we create can be very lasting and revered over the centuries even sometimes. But if we're creating from our sense of greed or wanting to make money, and that's our sole purpose, then these things that are created don't last. They're temporary. Everything's temporary, but this is more temporary. They go to the Goodwill or the dump or something, if somebody's creating out of greed. So then I was thinking about antiques. I don't know much about antiques, but we all know those names of Chippendale and Hepplewhite and Duncan Fife and I don't know, George Nakashima. Anybody heard of George Nakashima? I had never heard of him, but I was in Mount Dora once, which is, a haven for antiques, and they had a display of all his creative furniture. And I went in and just was in awe of the beauty of how a woodworker who is translating the divine idea of beauty into something amazing. It grabs even those of us who don't even know how to, know what these things are. But I could relate to the beauty of them. And just seeing the grain of the wood and how he worked it. So, but like I say, if these are just cheap knockoffs of their authentic work, then they don't last very long. So when we are creating this idea of renewing ourselves in any way or creating something from the unseen, which is the divine ideas, from the unseen to the seen, and what we say about prosperity is however we define it, if we put our attention to it, we condition our mind, and we listen to the divine idea. We have to hear that still small voice where the divine idea is coming through. And then we grasp that and begin to put some structure to it, some form to it. And we do that through visioning, through using the power of divine imagination. I know there are some of us, probably some of us in this room who say, oh, I'm not creative at all, or I don't have any imagination, or I can't do that visioning stuff. But we all are endowed with divine imagination. And if we are patient enough and go into the silence, where again, the outside world, if we can block out some of the outside busyness that we take on and sit in the silence, I guarantee you'll begin to wake up to ideas you never considered before. And once you get a sense of that idea, then you are given the energy and the substance of God to create it. You set the intention, you see what the end result could be, you vision the possibility, and then you get excited, you get motivated, and you focus and put your attention and intention to what it is you want to create. And so remember that ideas in mind create after their kind. That's one of those little jingles that New Thought uses. I think I first saw that in a gym somewhere in California. It was hanging up on a wall, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I never heard that one before. But that was way back in the 19 blah, blah, blah. Okay, so every once in a while we need to ask ourselves, if all my needs were met, if that which I'd like to see as my prosperity, what would it feel like? What would it look like? How would I live then? and then receive that message, that picture of what the end result would look like. And again, prosperity is how we define it. So I was looking in some of my files, and I found way back, I was given that assignment to make my own definition of prosperity. And this is years and years ago, and I said, I give thanks that through the creative power of the Christ mind in me, I claim my good as a body that is vibrantly a temple of the God force in me, a circle of relationships that lovingly support and nurture my spirit, a safe and comfortable home environment where I can get rest and share time with my circle of friends and family, and engage in creativity, and a flow of money that allows me to give generously, pursue my purpose, explore the world, and enjoy beauty in my life. So I want you to think about what's important to you and how you want to keep building that consciousness. What would it look like? And then I looked back on this is years ago, and I'm thinking, I've pretty well satisfied those, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. But that's for you to do, right? And I would even tweak a few now, but that's not it. But I'm satisfied and I'm happy with where I am. And that's what we want all of us to be. All of us to be. And so you may have one or another aspect in your life that you want to broaden out. And, it could be in relationships. It could be in your health and wellness. See, these are the divine ideas, right? Relationships come from the divine idea of love. So as you meditate on the divine idea of love, you'll be given wonderful guidance about how to express love in new ways. And if you sit and meditate on the divine idea of health and wellness, you'll be guided to just the right resources, and you'll be aware of what you need to do to nurture your body as a temple of spirit. You are a temple of spirit. God is in us, we are in God, and all is well. And so this idea of we want to master our minds. We want to get rid of the victim mentality where we go, where we wallow in what we lack. If you find yourself, tune into your thoughts. If you find yourself feeling a sense of lack of anything, then you want to catch that and say, what belief am I holding that I'm still thinking these thoughts? Or that you're unsafe and you got to overly protect yourself. What is the belief that you're holding or the experience where you got that, and bring that up to be healed? And so we condition our minds that way by paying attention to our thoughts. And then we listen for the divine ideas. And then we express. We then begin to naturally behave in a way that's in alignment with the divine idea from God that we're working on. And so if it is love, for example, if we're working on that, we'll be shown how to forgive any unforgiveness that's in our hearts. We'll be shown how to express that love. We'll be shown how to express our creative nature if we truly want to bring that into our lives. I love that Charles Fillmore, at 94 years old, he wrote a little affirmation that he hung on his wall, and it's actually there in Unity Village in his old, they restored, I guess, or have the very office that he worked in right there. And he said, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm to do the things that are mine to do. Wow, Charles Fillmore, 94 years old. Can we say that even today at our ages? Come on. We don't need to even think age is just a number. We go in and find spirit. We bring forth that beautiful energy, knowing that we are creative beings. We can create our experiences around us, and if we do that, then we're also contributing to the world, the beautiful rising up of our human family. So most of you know these tools, but again, think about how much you use them. The silence. How many minutes of silence, really pure silence, do you get a day? Oh my gosh, we are just so bombarded. All right? So we have to be intentional to say, I'm going to sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the morning and clear my head and connect with God. And then maybe at noonish time, or, set yourself a schedule to say, I intend to spend some time today remembering the truth of who I am, intentionally, and then observing our thoughts. You do know we have about 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And what you want to look for is the balance. How many negative thoughts versus positive thoughts? The research says the average person, it's 80% negative thoughts. Whoa. So we want to be above average here, right? Right. We want to get at least a B to start with and then go from there. So observe your thoughts. Stop and think. Yeah. Adrian. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And so, if you catch yourself with a negative thought, then you have the opportunity to reverse it right then to a positive affirmation. And you know how to do affirmations. And that's the other tool, denials and affirmations. You don't deny that you're actually seeing something in the physical world. You don't deny, one of my early ministers said, if a herd of zebras come down the road, you get out of the way, whatever. But you want to deny the power of a thought you may have over your life. You deny the power of that thought to affect you, like, oh, I don't feel well. All right, maybe, some of us behave as though we're having the worst ever day just because we have a toothache or our feet hurt or something. So, but we've got power to deny that to affect us. As we then shift to, I am a healthy, whole, amazing spiritual being. Sizzling with zeal and enthusiasm. Sizzling. Okay, and so then, and we must go through a period of self-discovery every once in a while too, to just check in on ourselves, learn about who we are. And that means accepting that we are going to have negative thoughts. Accepting that all of us carry some kind of shadow. That's what the psychologists would call it. That's a Jungian term or whatever. But, something that happened maybe in childhood where we misunderstood something, where we interpreted something as our responsibility, that we took on responsibilities we didn't need to as children. Whatever it is, it seems like even the most perfect parents, children still sometimes get wounded by just overhearing adult language they didn't understand. So we want to check in and release and do our work from self-discovery to taking responsibility for ourselves by admitting that sometimes we can be mean-spirited sometimes, or we can be angry, or we can be unloving sometimes. By getting in touch with that part of us so that we can heal it and say, that's that human part. and it's the human condition. And I'm going to focus on let my spirit guide my human self. Because we are in a paradoxical reality of both being human and spiritual. So, and then the law of giving and receiving, that we want to be generous. We want to keep the flow going of offering our time, talent, and treasure out into the world so that we can receive more good. And then we offer time, talent, and treasure out into the world. And being grateful is one of the big practices for prosperity. Being grateful, not for everything. Now, this Butterworth makes a real distinction. He says you can't be grateful, when there's a serious, horrible, horrific thing that happened to you. But you can be grateful in the experience that you have the power to walk through it. There's a distinction there, see? That fine line, fine understanding of even in the worst circumstances, if we can focus on what's inside of us, this amazing spark of divinity that can help us rise up above it. And there will be pain, there will be struggle, and but we have the power to overcome. So being grateful, looking for the good, intentionally looking for the good. So often, instead of counting our blessings, Butterworth says, so often in counting our blessings, we count on our envies. Oh, I wish I looked as good as that person over there. Or I wish I could lose weight like so-and-so did. Or I wish I could, have the kind of car this person drives. Or, we can go on and on, because our human mind keeps doing the comparisons, right? And so Butterworth would say, count our blessings. Look for the good intentionally. And know that gratitude is not a reactionary emotion. Now, this is Butterworth again. It's not a reaction to something, but it is also a causative energy. Gratitude creates energy in us so that as we see good, we want to do good. That's a wonderful teaching. And so we thank Eric Butterworth for these wonderful ideas about prosperity. And we want to focus on the good and use this process of mind idea expression to create the experiences and the prosperity that we want to see around us. And so let's say again our wonderful affirmation for this week. God is my instant, constant, and abundant source of prosperity. God is my instant, constant, and abundant source of prosperity. And for just a moment, let's go in the silence and let that sink in. Let's plant that in our mind. And we give thanks that we know that we are in God. God is in us. And with this knowing, we rise above any situation, any belief in lack or thoughts that may pull us down or drag us down, or thoughts of undeserving, unworthiness, envy. Let's release them, release them, release them, release them. And in your mind's eye now, see yourself claiming your birthright of prosperity. See yourself rising up in your full potential. What does that feel like? What does that look like? What are you saying and doing? See yourself filled with zeal and enthusiasm. And so we give thanks, knowing that we are prosperous as we connect with this beautiful divine energy within us. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen and amen.
I know you.
Wow, talk about zeal and enthusiasm, huh? Yay. I'm going to call the chaplains forward now. And they are prepared to pray with you after the service. So if you'd like prayer to celebrate someone or your life, your blessings in your life, or if something's weighing on your heart, come on up and sit in one of these chairs or find one of these chaplains. They'll find you and pray with you. Great. So now we remember to be generous and to exercise our prosperity circulation. And we're going to bless all the offerings that come in through the mail and in our baskets with the ushers at the doors. If you'd like to send it by Breeze, some of you are signed up on the Breeze system. And so there are many ways to pay. Go to our website if you want to donate through the website. And now let's bless all these beautiful love offerings for this beautiful ministry. Yeah. Blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive abundantly.
You would have paid $20 to hear that.
Yeah, I know.
So just think about that.
So we are abundant, yes, and we're grateful. Yeah. All right, let's stand and say together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. And all is well.
I take